Have you noticed a recent trend in videos like this?
You feel this anxiety response at the thought that you don't have your phone with you.
I can't seem to get away from a screen.
These phones are decreasing our attention span.
Reconsider your relationship with your phone.
Just like everyone else, I too am chronically addicted to my phone. And on my quest to cure my phone addiction, I came across this idea of turning your phone screen black and white. Supposedly, it helps by making your phone less desirable to use. But does it actually work? So for the next 50 hours, I turned all of my screens black and white. Let the timer begin. Like most 20-something-year-olds that have nothing better to do than stupid challenge videos, I started the day off the only way I knew how, by doom scrolling to oblivion. I probably spent like a good 30-something minutes just laying in bed scrolling, so yeah, how's that for a morning routine? Before I went to the gym, I thought it'd be a good experience to try to watch videos on the big screen in black and white. As for the experience, it did feel like something was missing, like it felt a bit incomplete in a sense, but so far it hadn't been long enough for it to be a problem for me. It's kind of like a canker sore, you know, like it's there and you notice it, but you kind of just brush it off because you know eventually it'll go away. And as you can see, I'm about to eat lunch right now. And what better way to eat lunch while watching one of the greatest cartoons ever made, SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, the sponge in the water, as they say. It just so happens that when I was young, I actually collect quite a lot of them. I have the complete first season, second season, third season, season 4, volume 1 and 2, season 7 for some reason. So yeah, I will be watching this while I'm eating lunch. There's actually one small problem with the disc, which is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like little blotches, darker spots on the disc itself. I don't know if this is the infamous disc rot that everyone talks about. I don't know if this is gonna work. I hope it does. And I guess we'll see. Does it work? Ah, it fucking works! Holy shit. But yeah, it seems like it does work. Resolution is a bit low. I think it's at best 480p or so. Hey, it works. Physical media rules, right? Now, if you excuse me, I'll go have some of my lunch and watch some SpongeBob. Now, this is where things got interesting. I thought watching SpongeBob would feel the same as well, but this is where it actually felt better in a sense. I don't know if it's because of the older art style or if it's because of the washed out colors in season 1, which came out over 20 years ago, but it actually felt quite nice to watch SpongeBob in black and white. I'm too young to have experienced Steampunk Willie, which is the original Mickey Mouse that came out way too long ago, but watching SpongeBob in black and white felt like watching one of those like old 30s, 40s cartoons in black and white. It had the same kind of vibe to it. It felt weirdly nostalgic, even though I have never experienced it, and I actually quite enjoyed watching it like that. After lunch, I wanted to go outside instead of cooping at home, so I packed my bags and drove into the city center. It was a pretty long drive too, so I thought it'd be a great chance for me to give some context into the challenge. Okay, so let's start off with the most important question. Why do this in the first place? The whole concept behind this idea is that the lack of color actually lowers your dopamine levels, which can be very helpful in curbing addictions. Even just on my phone, I probably have like 7 to 8 hours of screen on time every single day. And I tried many things, you know, on iPhone there's a setting to set like time limits, so that's what I'm doing right now. It has helped a little bit, but not by much. Apparently there are also little side benefits. For example, it's supposed to improve eye comfort. How does that work? I have no idea. I'm too dumb to understand that. Another one, it's supposed to improve your battery life. Again, this is also another thing that I don't really understand how that works. Another reason I also wanted to start this challenge was because I saw a lot of comments online, especially on Reddit, saying grayscale mode completely changed my life. It curbed my phone addiction. I've always been kind of curious about him. Like, is it really possible for just grayscale mode alone to kind of curb your addictions 8 hours in? That hasn't been the case. I'm still using my devices a lot. They're less enjoyable to use. I'm not really feeling anything, so yeah, I guess we'll see. As you can see, this is the setup I have for my navigation. So far, I haven't been lost yet. This is in color, this is in color, but otherwise, it's all in black and white. And so far, it's doing pretty good. This is probably the first instance I have if I get lost, is because in instances like this, where it's like 2 lines that are close together, it is so hard to see. Like, I would have missed this if I didn't know. I guess it does make a small difference, but so far, I'm still okay, so I guess we'll see. I found this really cool cafe in the city center that I thought would be perfect for this challenge thematically. As you can probably tell from the footage, this was a Monotone cafe. Now years ago we actually had a 2D cafe here in Malaysia, but unfortunately it got shut down. It looks very similar to this 2D cafe in Japan. The insides all look the same and everything is kind of shaded in a way that makes you look like you're in a manga. So because of that 2D cafe being shut down, this was basically the next best thing, and I gotta say it was pretty cool too. There's a lot of these sculptures and decorations scattered around in the cafe and they're all in black and white. I love the aesthetic in this cafe because the monotone interior design accentuates the color of the food and the drinks. For example, I got this slice of cake and a cup of matcha latte, and the surroundings just really make the color of those two items pop that much more. I sat there for a while just doing my usual stuff, you know, like a little bit of work, watching some videos, etc, and I didn't really notice much of a difference, to be honest. So after a while, I decided to just do something different. I thought to myself, what's something that absolutely needs color to be done properly? And the answer I came to was drawing. Now, I can't draw for life. Like if someone kidnapped me and forced me to draw a picture of a puppy, or else I get killed, I would probably just start writing my will right then and there. But hey, I wasn't kidnapped, so there wasn't anyone around me to judge my horrible drawings, so I started drawing something. I wanted to draw a character that was inspiring to me. A character that no matter how depressed I got, I could count on to brighten my day. A character that had a smile so infectious, it got me giggling too. It was really challenging trying to draw without color because I have to color the character as well. At this point, I was basically just guessing what colors I was using just based off of the different shades of gray. If you want to see what the character looks like, stick until the end of the video because I promise it is definitely not what you would expect. I had some dinner once I arrived home, and you know what rhymes with dinner? That's right, SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, I know SpongeBob doesn't really rhyme with the word dinner. I just wanted to convey how much I love SpongeBob, okay? I just need to watch it while having dinner. Hello, you probably can't see me because it's currently 10 PM, which means the sun has set, which means there's no more sunlight, and alongside it, the light in my heart, because I've been living in black and white for the past 15 hours. But now, can you see me better? I bet you can, can't you? It's almost time for bedtime, and you know what's a great thing to do before bedtime? Playing some video games. And because this challenge has been sucking out all of the color in my heart, I thought, why not play one of my favorite comfort games and see if it can add a little bit more color in my life. And that game is Astrobot on the PS5. Now if you don't know what Astrobot is, I don't blame you, it's not that popular. You know how Nintendo has Mario games? This is Sony's Mario game for the PS5. It's an amazing game, it's incredibly fun. It's just one of those few experiences that just make you feel euphoric. It's like me attending a Coldplay concert. You just feel pure euphoria. And a big part of what makes it so euphoric is the vibrant colors in the game. Let's find out if it's gonna be as fun as it is in color. I only played one level because it was already pretty late, but I feel like one level was already enough to form an opinion. It basically went just how I expected it to. It was still the same game underneath, but it doesn't feel as fun without any color. It honestly just felt bland. Like the gameplay loop was still fun, but I didn't feel the urge to explore the levels and just like appreciate the art. There wasn't any point anyways because they all kind of looked the same. So I just ended the game early and prepared to go to sleep. Before I sleep, I usually like to do a little bit of light reading, and this is where I noticed another small issue. Whenever I read a sentence that I feel like is worth remembering, I usually like to highlight it with the color yellow, but since my screen was in black and white, I couldn't really tell which color was yellow. It's a minor inconvenience at best, so it didn't really affect my experience of reading at all, so it wasn't really that big of a deal, to be honest. Alright, it's getting a bit late. It is starting to get to me just a little bit. It just bores you so much. It's not the good kind of boring, it's like the bad kind of boring. It's just like you're receiving some sort of a stimulation, but not really kind of. But yeah, still have tomorrow, so it's gonna be interesting. Let's see how this plays out. See ya. I started the day off just like usual, doom scrolling to oblivion, but this time around, I only really did it for around 15 minutes or so. This is where I started getting tired of the whole experience. It just felt really bland and boring. Like, it wasn't enjoyable, to be honest, which led me to checking my screen on time. I mean, surely it's gone down, right? And in fact, it did get down a little bit. It's still a ridiculously high amount of screen on time. It's almost triple what most people have in a day, but less is less still, I guess. It's currently 1:30 p.m. I just got back from the gym. I am incredibly hungry and I thought, why not try ordering some takeout because my phone is in black and white. I'm gonna be using an app called Grab. It's essentially Malaysia's version of DoorDash. And no, I just gotta clarify, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just they're the most convenient option. So I gotta choose something I've never tried before, because if I choose something like McDonald's or whatever, that's kind of cheating because I already know what it looks like and I know what to expect. I honestly have no idea what I want to eat, but I guess we'll see. Okay guys, I think I just found the one. It's called Four Wheel Cafe. I've never heard of these guys before. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna get this one. The crispy fried chicken chop. So yeah, that's the order. Seems like it's gonna take around half an hour to arrive, so I'm gonna go take a shower and wait for my food to arrive. Peace.
20 minutes later.
Okay, my food has arrived. That was actually surprisingly quick. I didn't expect it to arrive this early. Now I got myself a fried chicken chop, which I'm sure most of you have never heard of before. It's essentially like fried chicken, but in steak form. Like, it's a flat piece of chicken that is fried. I mean, it's typically pretty good. You know, I used to eat it a lot when I was a child. And in general, these so-called like fried chicken chops usually all look around the same and they usually have the same color. My expectations are that it's gonna look exactly the same as how I would picture it. Let's see if it actually looks the same. And yep, it is exactly the same as I expected. Holy shit, that is huge. What the fuck? That's like a whole chicken right there. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised at how big this thing is. This is typically way smaller, like usually half the size. And not to mention, this is takeout, so it's supposed to be more expensive. Yet it wasn't really that bad. It was like $6, $7, something like that. For this portion of food, that's not bad, even here in Malaysia, you know. So that's pretty good. And when you eat lunch, you never forget about the bev. Never, never, never. And you know what would go along this perfectly? Yeah, you guessed it, the perfect cartoon ever made, which is called SpongeBob SquarePants. So I'm gonna watch some more SpongeBob while I eat my lunch. Don't judge me. I'm 25, but don't judge me. Alright, time for some work. I actually have a video that I'm supposed to edit. This is probably the part that I'm most concerned with when it comes to video editing. Color is like super important. Different video tracks, audio tracks, everything. I usually do color coded. This is the first time I'm editing without any color. But thankfully, for today, it's just basic cuts, so should be fine. Okay, I am now done with the work and I can absolutely tell you that I am exhausted from just looking at black and white screens for so many hours, and I need to refresh my eyes and my soul for a little bit. I actually have a park that I've been wanting to go for a very long time, so this is the perfect opportunity to kind of go and to chill for a bit. Park time it is. It was around this time where I realized the lack of color actually affects my ability to navigate using Google Maps. This one here is a great example of that. It may look unassuming, but if you're not paying your full attention to it, it's very easy to get lost and go the wrong way. I, for example, turned the wrong direction because I didn't know which turn to take, and I ended up having to re-navigate and spend probably another 10 minutes or so in traffic. Now, this could just be me being a bad driver, but I would never admit that. Of course, it's technology's fault, not mine. Here I am at a park, and as you can see, the lights are out. Now, the whole reason I actually came here was so that I could get away from screens, which is kind of ironic because that was the whole point of the challenge in the first place. I spent so much time looking at screens that my eyes just started hurting really, really bad. And the lack of color makes it so that I have to strain my eyes just a little more to see certain things. When you have color, it's very easy to pick things out, especially when you're used to things. But when you don't have any color, you have to strain your eyes a little bit more just to see those specific UI elements. But yeah, as you can see, it's very dark here. I'm not gonna let that ruin my enjoyment of this park, so I'm just gonna chill here for a bit and you guys can look at some beautiful park b-roll whilst I just sit there like an old man. I got hungry from looking at all those trees, so I went to grab some dinner, and by now I probably don't have to say it anymore, but I watched some SpongeBob while having my dinner. Fun fact, they actually have an official live stream where it's a compilation of short clips from various older episodes, and it's on YouTube and it's live 24/7. If that's not the perfect play in the background type of video, I honestly don't know what is. Is it a lot? Orang Malaysia. Now, I get mistaken as Korean a lot in my life. I mean, they don't call me the Malaysian Jungkook for no reason, right? Just look at these two pictures. I mean, they're practically the same. The similarity is uncanny. Hello, I'm currently at a bridge, and as you can see, it's full of color, it's very vibrant. And the reason why I wanted to come here was to kind of signify the importance of color. These past 40 hours or so of using all my devices in black and white has not been super enjoyable. It wasn't like super hard or anything. It was a slog to get through. It doesn't even matter if it was like watching videos, playing games, or doing anything really. Just the lack of color not only made it a lot less enjoyable, it also made it harder. It felt like an appropriate way to celebrate the importance of color here in the city center. I'm surrounded by a lot of buildings. It's currently 11 p.m. yet it's full of color, it's full of lights, and this bridge here is probably the best symbol for color. Is what I would say if I was being pretentious. The original plan was I wanted to come here to shoot videos in black and white and then compare it to what I see with my own eyes in color. But unfortunately, because none of my cameras can shoot black and white, I decided to just come here to make this whole pretentious bit about color being important just so I can sound more smart. And I would be lying if I said otherwise. I came all the way here to City Center just for this bit, so I hope it was worth it. Alright, it's almost time for bed, and as usual, before I sleep, I like to do a little bit of reading. But before I do that, I wanted to mention a little bit about the light that I have on my desk. So for this challenge, I actually changed the color of the light to white because I wanted to see if the white color would make it harder for me to fall asleep. And I think the white color does actually affect my sleep just a little bit. It is definitely unusual because usually when I read, it takes me around like 10 minutes or so to start falling asleep. So yeah, I'm gonna read a bit now. I'm absolutely exhausted right now, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Still have tomorrow though, 2 more hours left in the challenge, I guess. It's been an interesting challenge. Alright, time to sleep. By this point, I was getting pretty tired of the challenge and honestly just wanted it to end. And compared to the previous day, I only spent around 10 minutes laying in bed scrolling, so it was pretty evident that I got pretty sick of the whole black and white thing. I didn't want to end the challenge in my room, so I thought it'd be a good idea to film the end of the challenge at another park. I just love parks, you know? They're filled with trees and oxygen and shit. I was kind of running late by this point and it just so happened to be rush hour, so I was stuck in traffic for quite a bit. I got really frustrated and started greeting some of the driver's parents, so please excuse my French. It's currently 9:24 and I am 6 minutes away from finishing this challenge. The number one thing that I've learned is that just because a lot of people say that something works for them doesn't necessarily mean that it will work for you. For me at least, it hasn't really made much of a difference. Really, it just made me appreciate color more. Like, I know how black and white is supposed to lower your dopamine levels so that you don't get addicted to your phones as much. The amount that is recorded here for this challenge really isn't that different compared to how I use my phone normally. So that's the first thing. But the second thing, which is eye comfort, didn't really work for me as well either. The lack of color makes it harder to perceive certain objects and items and like certain UI elements. If you do it in black and white, it just makes things harder to see. The lack of color actually just makes my life actively worse. But really, it just made me appreciate color more. Being able to see every single color in full detail, that is such a gift that we don't usually think about it. But yeah, I'm still glad I did this challenge, mainly to satisfy my curiosity of whether or not it would actually help. And even though my answer is no, I can start to appreciate just how beautiful this world is in color. It's currently 9:30, so you know what that means. Alright, it's finally time. Ooh, 50 hours of black and white. You have no idea how excited I am to just go back to color. I'm so sick of black and white. Okay, I'm gonna do a countdown, alright? 3, 2, 1. Huh. I guess it doesn't really make much of a difference. Wait. What is going on? What is this? Whoa, I'm in black and white. That's pretty neat. Oh, and it's that picture of SpongeBob I drew. Honestly, it's not that bad if I do say so myself. I'd say give it another 70 more years or so after I die and it'll be considered a classic.